YouTube. He's one of God's messengers. He explained something in one of his recent videos that I didn't really know, or I guess I didn't get up to that point yet. Okay, so he explained that in the book of Genesis, where it says that God said, let us make man in our image, right? I always had trouble with that. I always assumed it was God speaking with Satan, and our image was like what they are like, and then it was changed because of the fall of man. But okay, so he explained it that the word used for God in that specific scripture was Elohim, not El, right? El is the name of God in Hebrew, and Elohim is the name of God's angels, right? So in the Bible, it's saying that not God created man, but his angels created man. I never really knew that. And that's really messed up, because that could definitely imply that Satan created mankind, right? Especially since he pointed out there's a verse in the Quran which also implies the exact same thing. It says that Allah, right, created man by splitting the seed. You know? So it's like, well, splitting the seed of something, that means you're taking a natural thing and then or something that's already occurring, and then you're altering it, right? Like you're altering its natural growth, because splitting the seed implies that you're taking something and then you're only using half of it, right? And then making something else out of it. So, and it's also weird that the first fallen angel, Samjaza, in the book of Enoch says that he taught mankind root cuttings before anything else, right? He taught mankind root cuttings, which is very much like splitting a seed, right? Like they're both implying genetic manipulation, right? So that's really messed up when you think about it. It's almost like it's saying that Satan created mankind. Which would imply that Satan is our God, right? I mean, at least the one who created mankind, right? Like, I mean, you can kind of say that that's what God means, not really. Like you can use God, the word, in a couple different ways, right? Like, I mean, you could be, like, for instance, you could be a god at Tekken 6, right? Like you're the best player on earth at that fighting game, right? But that doesn't mean that you created the fighting game. You know, the person that created the fighting game could not even be good at the game, right? So the word God, right? It could just mean like the best player at the game, not the creator of the game, right? So it's that whole thing, Elohim creating us, that like completely changes the story of everything, right? That could imply a lot of different things when you think about it. You know, it does make sense too that okay, so if Satan is the god of this world, right? Like the king over the earth, from the spiritual realm throne, right? Then he would not just be like, you know, the god of mankind and the god of the earth. Like would that imply that Jesus is the son of that God? right? I know there's certain things that make clear differences in the Bible between Satan and God. Because I don't know, it depends on how you're reading it, I guess, because Satan means the adversary, right? It's the name of the title of the adversary. So what if God, the creator, is the adversary, right? Because the only way he's gonna not be your adversary is if you accept his son as your king, right? But from the standpoint of a non-believer or someone who won't bow to that name, right? To them, God, the Father of Jesus, would be the adversary, right? Because he's going to be the one that kills them. He's going to be the one that has the ability to kill them and send them to hell, right? So, it's very confusing because there's only fear the person who can do that, right? And it's well, technically, who's doing that? If Satan is the one who accuses you to God, but at the same time, Satan is the adversary, right? And it says to only fear God, fear nothing else, right? Then, it's very confusing, saying that the angels created us and not God the creator, right? God that created the earth is not the God that created mankind. That's really messed up to me. It changes a lot of things, more than I can explain in this video, right? Jonathan Kleck, he said that, he's using it in the context of explaining that Allah of the Muslim religion is Satan of the Bible, right? But when you really, really look at it, doesn't that just mean that Satan is the god of every religion, including Christianity and Catholicism? Especially if he has them all playing off of each other. That seems very much like something he would do, right? Obviously, I've seen Christ in the sky, but then again, I've also seen about 1,000 different dragons too. So it's that all could be shown to me by the angels, right? They're just making these false images in the sky for me, right? I'm not really sure. I trust in Jesus and his name and his power and everything. I've met Satan, so it's more difficult to me than I think for most people because, they're just relying on the faith of the religion itself, but I'm more or less relying on faith and experience and other research, so it's very confusing.